All right, now that we have data showing up on the screen, let's actually go ahead and just define our main function and actually start making use of the data. So here I'm just going to define our function. And then let's go down the bottom here and call it as the main. Yeah, double underscore name. Main. Then let's call the function. All right. Okay, so let's make sure nothing broke. Okay, we're all good. I do that all the time. I guess it just makes me feel better. I don't know what it is. Okay, so now let's actually go through and look for what it is that we care about, the coins that we actually care about. So let's list those first. So I'm going to say, I'm going to define my coins and the coins to alert list. Again, this is referencing my command script, but we'll just rebuild this here because we're just going to make a really simple list. And for right now, these will be the same. We'll just care about Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we're going to put that in both. So again, one of these would be to list like, okay, these are the coins that I care about and want to know market data on, and one would be like, okay, I'm actually going to buy these. So for example, I actually want to know what Doge and Bitcoin are doing, but I don't actively trade those. So I include them in my alerts, but I don't include them in the ability to open up bot deals. Okay, so now that we have all the coin pairs and we know what coins that we care about, let's iterate through the tickers and select just the coin pairs that we care about. And again, this is probably not the most efficient way to do this, but I feel like there was some really specific way I did this. So for each of the coin pairs in the all coin pair tickers that we just got from Binance, and let's see, we might want this. I'm going to put this here and comment it out. So, okay, so for all coin pairs, let's check to see if the coin pair symbol that we're getting here, if it matches one in our list that we care about, or the ones, yeah, our coins that we care about. So, okay, so if coin pairs, and again, we care about the symbol at this point, so we're requesting the symbol. If it's in pairs to alert, is that what I call it? Oh, I haven't built that yet. Okay, so we're going to build a new list called pairs to alert list USD. And again, this gets back to, in some places we have to use USD, and sometimes we have to use USDT because they don't provide USD data. And sometimes we want just the coin without USD or USDT. So that's why we have a couple functions here and there to add and remove USD or USDT. Okay, so for right now, we'll just put pass so we don't get a bunch of weird squiggly lines. Now let's go ahead and create this little helper here. Okay, so we'll call these helpers. I'm not sure how many of these we'll need at this stage, but we need at least one. Okay, so we'll create the list, and then we'll say for coin and coins to alert list. Let's just make that modification to add USD. That's it. So append. We'll use an F string. You have to be using Python 3 for those, just so you know. And we'll take the coin and we'll just add USD. Very easy. Add this little note about formatting so we don't forget why. Okay. So now we shouldn't get anything breaking here. Okay, we don't get anything breaking, but we don't get anything. So as we'd imagine, we're not printing anything now. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take, we'll take just the coin, just the name from that. So we'll say, you know, if it's in here, boom. Okay, so now let's take the coin, the string, and set it equal to coin USD. Let me put this little note for it. Then we'll create a new variable called current market price. And we want that to be the price here. And we want to make sure that's a float so that nothing wacky happens when we try to do calculations on it. And now we're going to make the actual technical analysis request. This is to TA API. So I'll copy and paste that over and then talk through the individual pieces. And then we'll actually look at TA API real quick to make sure you know how to get everything set up. Okay, so we are going to be setting the time intervals that we care about. This is where we're looking at the 1 day, 1 hour, and the 15-minute RSI. And then, so because there's multiple of them, we're going to have to send multiple requests. I've talked with the guys at TA API about it. I actually have talked to them quite a lot. They're super helpful. But there's no way to make batch requests quite in the way that we want to yet. So again, that's why we're using some sleep functions and whatnot. But we're going to need to define multiple intervals, and we will request each one of those intervals. So let's go back up to where we're making our Binance client connection, and we'll just define some connection or request parameters to TA API here as well. So again, these are the intervals we care about. When we enter them in to the JSON data for the request, it's just going to be the string of the interval that we care about. So 1 day, 1 hour, and 15 minutes. And you also list the indicator that you care about. And again, we're using RSI. But again, what's so great about using these guys, and it's like $5 or $6 a month or whatever, is that there's just, I think there's like 200 or 300 different things you can choose from. And all you have to do is change the indicator and change the time. And there's like a few other little parameters, and it just makes it so easy. Okay, so we have the indicator that we want and the interval. Remember, you're going to need, in your config file, you're going to need your key. So here, let me go. So yeah, this is from taapi.io. You can get a free one. I'm already there. So you can get a free one to give things a try. One API request per 15 seconds is a bit limiting. I mean, I guess that's kind of the idea because they're trying to sell something here. But it's enough to like get you into this demo and let you try it out and see how things go. And you can just add a little bit of time to the sleep timer and just wait a little bit more time. But their plans are super cheap. So you'll get your secret key from there. And so here again, I'm just referencing that. And this is again where, okay, they don't have coin USD pairings, so I have to use USDT. So here with this coin USD, or I'm sorry, where is it? We're missing something. Okay, yeah, so now we've actually got to split the USD off of the coin USD pairing. So again, we have, so we're taking the coin USD from the symbol here, just being really explicit in this variable definition, just because things get really confusing really quickly when you're using the same words over and over. So now we have just the coin. So this is just BTC, just ETH. So we're splitting it, and then it creates a list, and we're taking the 0th item in that list, which is the BTC, rather than the USD. Then we're just creating an RSI list that we'll reference later. And so again, so now we have our coin. We're adding USDT or /USDT to the end of that because that's the specific parameter inputs that are needed for TA API. We're using the interval that we've chosen, so one of the 3 here. Then we're creating our request, and we're getting the information from it, putting it into a response variable. We still have to import the request module, and we are taking the response and I guess calling it as a JSON object and calling that a result variable. And then from that JSON object of result, we're trying to get the value specifically. And here, let's go ahead. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, I've already got this here. Okay, first let's do import. We don't need that anymore. We'll use requests here. Okay, so let's run this again and see what we get from oh yeah, okay, yeah, we have to, just like we had to establish the client connection for Binance, we have to have the endpoint connection for TA API. So here is the endpoint. This address is always the same. And then again, here's where your indicator goes when everything's put together. So RSI right here. And this is like an F string, it's just the older version of format. And so then, yeah, that's where your indicator, or I'm sorry, your endpoint gets called here. And so now, this should work. Okay, so now you're seeing the individual RSI values come in. So on the 1 day, BTC's RSI value is 68, very high because things have been charging. ETH's is even higher, 72. The 1 hour is pretty decent. They're coming back down. So it's the 1 hour 47, 1 hour 42 here, and then oh wow, they're actually getting quite low. So things must really be selling off just in the short term, within an hour. Unfortunately, this takes a while sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a good example. Maybe not with the 1 day being so high. It depends on kind of like, you know, how you're trying to build things and what kind of risk you want to take. But see, this would be a good entry point on like the 15-minute. So you're at this very bottom here. If you bought here, then you know you could be reasonably sure that you'd probably be able to sell right here, and it'd be a high chance of making gains. But again, we're using the DCA bot, so in case things do continue to go down, we'll buy more, then we'll average our sell price down. Okay, so again, we got these RSI values, and so what we're doing now is we're taking each of those, each of the RSI values and tearing them off of the response that we're getting, and then putting them into our RSI list so that we have a list of 3 values for each coin. All right, let's go ahead and we'll just print our readout of the coin, the market price, and the RSI list. And let's go ahead and uncomment this one so we're just seeing that new information. Oh, I must have missed something. Oh, I didn't save it. All right, just to make it a little more clean. Okay, so again, we see what coin pair we care about, we see the current market price, and then we have a little RSI list there. And again, we're using the RSI to determine when we're entering the trade. Again, I have to use a sleep timer when I call a whole bunch of coins, depending on what level of TA API you do or don't pay for. You have to use some version of this as well. I'm just going to put 1.5 here. That's where I've used elsewhere for demo purposes. And we'll have to import the time function as well. But again, normally I reference my command script variables, and so I can change those as needed if I'm adding or subtracting coins. So let's go ahead up here. Let's import time. Okay, so that's just, again, spaces out the calls so that you don't violate any of their maximum calls per second. Okay, so now here's where we're actually going to make the evaluate if it's within our buying parameters. And I'm going to copy and paste this as well. It's just so much easier while you're talking. So again, we made that list of RSI values for each coin. And now we want to observe if each of those values is below each of our thresholds. So, it's always 0th. So RSI lists the 0th, the 1 day, the first item, the 1 hour, and then the second item here is the 15-minute. So making sure that it is below those thresholds, and we have to establish these. Again, normally I would reference these from the command script, but just to make sure, we'll just put them here, and just to make sure that something always goes through for the purposes of testing, we'll just put these at 100. So our deal will always go through. If we made them lower, then obviously it would be more stringent. Okay, so we make it here. Then let's print out to the screen that our buying conditions are met. Here is when I would do a market alert. The way I'm doing those is actually, there's quite a bit that goes into it, so I didn't want to go through it in this part of the tutorial. We'll come back to this, but I just wanted to include it here, comment it out, so you can get a sense of where it actually do the alerts and how it's included in the run bot network, and how that handles alerts, but also starting new processes. Okay, so next, now we want to, so we're doing this for all coins. So again, this could include all coins that we care about, all on our alert list. So this could include, for me, Bitcoin and Doge, which I don't actually want to trade. So now at this point, we've done the alert. We've said that it's in buy conditions for the coin, but now we want to actually check if it's in my coins that I actually want to trade. And so again, we set those two separately. So you could add extra ones here that you would alert and get information about, but not that you would actually execute orders on. So here we're just making sure that it's something we want to execute an order on. Okay, and so now is when, okay, actually, I'm sorry, let's go back, and there's a couple more pieces that we're not going to include quite yet, but I want to reference so that the whole system makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so what we'll be doing next when we've got the whole thing set up is that we need to check for active deals, see what deals we're already in, just to make sure that, if we're running this every 5 minutes and it's like, oh, ETH has a good deal, now we should open a deal. If we already have a deal open with it, and we don't want to open multiple deals for a single coin or deploy multiple bots for a single coin, then we'll use some type of parameter here to make sure that doesn't happen. So here I'm just getting all of my deals. I'm storing them in a JSON file, which is like separate from what I'm doing with entering information to my database, but it's just a little bit simpler, a little bit faster. So we'll get all of our active deals and make sure we don't have too many deals and we're not making duplicate deals. And then we'll do a quick check here that just says if the coin that we're looking at right now is not in our active deals and we don't have too many active deals, then we can actually proceed to opening a new deal. Okay, so here's where we actually will do that. So this is again where we're beginning a new sub-process. I think this is one of the, although it's extremely simple, I think this is one of the more novel pieces, just the way that it allows you to run multiple processes in parallel. And although you have this one process that oversees everything, you now have these individual bots handling individual deals, and you can hand them different parameters to make the bot specific to the market environment. So you can deploy different types of bots. So this script can run, and one time it might deploy a DCA bot, and one time it might deploy a much simpler bot that just places an immediate buy order and then an immediate sell order really close by. So you can do like constant scalping. But this allows you to have this one script, this one program that can deploy different processes. Okay, so here we will define the bot that we want to use, and for right now, we're just always using the simple fake bot that we talked about. And I will just copy that over, and I'll post that in, I'll make this available so that you guys can just hit the ground running with this. And later we'll get into actually coding this and taking it from a simple fake one to actually placing real orders. Okay, so let's, we just want to copy this file name here. So it's called simple fake DCA, yeah, bot. And it's not a variable anymore. Okay, so just a simple string there. So this, again, when it runs, this is going to be like typing into the terminal, like saying Python 3 simple fake DCA bot.py, and then we're going to add some other parameters after that. But again, that's the whole purpose of that there. Okay, let me just clear this. Okay, so and then we're just adding in the additional parameters here, and it's just for right now. So we're just adding in this script name where we're getting our Python version from. So we're actually defining that from our virtual environment. We're saying the side that we're going to be on is buying, because you can write these for buying or selling. This one is just for buying right now. And then which coin we want to use, and we need to use the Coin USD. You don't have to, but that's what I always trade. So BTC USD, ETH USD, whatever. And here we'll start a new subprocess, and this just means pipe open, and then we have to give it what the command is, which is our process string. And then we just want to say that it's like run in the shell so you can see it. That's not always necessary. Okay, so let's add subprocess here for our imports. Okay. And here again, this is not a piece that we're using right now, but this would be where we're writing to the JSON file, so that we say, okay, well, right when we created this subprocess, let's go ahead and write that we're placing this order. Right now, it's not an order that's been started and executed yet per se, so it's not going to the database, but it's going to a JSON file, so that when this runs again, because it's running in a loop pretty fast, we don't want it to place multiple orders for the same thing. Okay, so this will create the parameters to put into the JSON file and to send to the database. But again, we're not doing that right now. So we're going to leave that commented out. And then we always want to try except. So if you failed for one coin for whatever reason, you could go through it again and you wouldn't fail necessarily for the next coin unless it's for the same reason. I'm just going to show this real quick, where this is normally where this is where I have sell alerts, but we don't really care about those right now. But again, I have sell alerts that talk to some bots and also send me email alerts, just so I can know if like the market is overheating, but it's not used in this process right now. So let's go ahead and run this and see if it works. Okay. Okay, so we're getting the RSI values. Okay, so it's saying it's within our parameters, and so it has run a new system command, just like we outlined, and it started a new process. So this is showing both. It's doing this for BTC and ETH. So in the terminal here, it's showing them both at the same time, so they're overlapping, which is like kind of a little bit confusing. Once you use this a few times, it won't really be confusing at all. But that's why you're seeing it like this. But these processes are running separately and running on their own. And we can actually, we'll run this again, and then let's actually just look for the processes to make sure everything's running properly. So I started this, it should be running for like 7 seconds or something. I think I have it now. So here I'm going to, oh, that's not helpful. Okay, we're going to do a grep command and looking for our processes. What do we call it? Simple fake DCA bot.py. I think that's it. Okay, so yeah, let's run this one more time. And then, okay, so it shows that it started the command. Okay, so we can see that these processes are running simple fake DCA bot. It bought Bitcoin, and another one that bought Ethereum. And if we check this again, now that we know that the processes are done, the deals have been closed, we run this again, and you see that the processes are not running. So again, this is like a full circle of a demo of running the bot network. It checks for market conditions, does technical analysis on the coins that you care about, you want to alert. It decides, or it checks which ones you want to buy, and decides if it should open a new process, create a new bot for it. It deploys that bot as a completely separate process, and that process runs on its own until it runs its course and dies. So we can take a quick look at that just so you get an idea of what process we just ran. So we're taking inputs in here from the, I get just the terminal command. I'm not sure what you call it when it's not actually, when you're not input into the terminal. But this is how you do it here. It's treated like portions of a list, kind of. So you have the side here, which was buy, and then you have the coin USD, which we gave it ADA USD, and our little sleep timer we have to define here again. Here's our connection to the client. Here we're just pretending that we have opened the order, and then this is where we actually start monitoring the coin. We're getting the current market price, and based off of the current market price and getting our all of our order data, we'll make this individual bot will make decisions on what to do, if it should place new orders, if it should cancel orders, or any adjustments it should make. And we'll get more into this piece later. But so this was a complete run through of a simple sample version of how my major process works, that again does most of the analysis and then deploys bots. And so next time we'll go into more specific pieces of individual bots and other pieces of the architecture and how to run Cronjobs so that you can run this every 5 minutes without ever having to think about it. Your computer or Linux server or whatever just does it on its own. Every 5 minutes, you create a cron log or email alerts, and it just sends all the information to you, and you don't have to do any of that. So all of it is automated. So that's it for this kind of first part, our first 1 or 2 parts of the series. So again, please let me know if this is helpful information to you, if some parts are unclear, or if there's any questions that you have on anything we've gone over. I do want to make sure that this is useful, helpful content before I continue making this. This probably took 15 to 20 hours, and I think it's going to produce like maybe 30 minutes to 60 minutes of content. So I just want to make sure that this is useful and that I'm headed in the right direction. So thank you so much for watching, and see you later.